On my last video, I shared about the massive leap forward your life with AI will take when you move out of the chats and into a workspace. But a commenter pointed out that something seemed to be missing. What is the thing that makes the AI behave differently in this environment versus the chat environment? But before we talk about that, YouTube tells me that over 90% of you watching this aren't subscribed to the channel. So please subscribe if you haven't. It'll really help me out and it'll help you be able to follow along with what we're doing. And because you're getting in on the ground floor of a growing channel that's brand new, your comments matter a lot. I see them, I respond to them, and I'll even respond to them with content that's relevant for you. So back to the question. Why does the folder change the way the AI works? Well, it is actually true that simply taking that one step to move into a workspace will increase your ability to get work done accurately and efficiently because the AI will have context. All the things that are in those workspace folders will be visible, and when you ask a question, it will search the workspace and try to understand what you're talking about based on what it has access to. But there is a way to optimize what your AI knows about you and your work and how it actually retrieves information. And that is the next big step forward that will change the way you work with AI forever. Now, depending on what AI you use, whether Claude or Codex or Gemini or Cursor, they're all going to have their own way to manage memory. But mostly, that will consist of a flat memory system. One or maybe two dedicated files that everything the AI decides it wants to remember about you gets dumped into. And the default for that file will be per project. That means that if you work in a folder for a specific project, say a website that you're building, the AI will probably do a pretty good job from the start of knowing what's going on with that website project. But what if you want to work on the website and draft a report for work and triage your emails and a question comes up about a decision that you made in a different project a couple weeks ago? What happens then? That's where you will start to feel the friction of that system breaking down. Not only is your AI not equipped to work across all your domains, but that one memory file will also become bloated over time, filled with stale information and things that don't really matter anymore, projects that you've moved on from, notes on other projects that aren't relevant to the work you're trying to do right now. As a general rule, giving your AI context is good, but giving it too much context is actually bad. Because all of that context is getting loaded for every turn. And that's why you'll start to see false memories happening, decisions being made by the AI based on outdated context, and inconsistent behavior across your sessions. Today, I'm going to show you how to fix that. Here's the folder that we created before called AIOS, and I dropped one fictional memory file into it. Now, as you can see, it contains tons of jumbled up information about user identity, rules, domains, projects, and relationships. And this is a realistic example of what you might have if you worked in your folder for a few months with no defined memory system in place. Now, you might have seen tons of content lately about memory systems out there. And if you're new, all of that can be pretty overwhelming. But memory systems do not have to be complicated. We can accomplish a simple, functional memory system in just 4 moves. 3 places where stuff is going to live, and 1 process to keep it all healthy. Let me break down what we're building. We start with our load package. These are the things that Claude is going to load up every single time that we start up a session. Now, we want this to be light. One of the key features of a memory system is that you don't waste a bunch of tokens loading every single piece of information into every single session. The first and most important part of your system is the index.md file. This is the roadmap or the table of contents that lists what you have in your workspace and where to find it. Nothing gets explained in the index. It just gets pointed to so that if you ask for it, your AI knows where to find it. The one exception to that is skills. For skills, you want a one-line trigger summary in the index, and that way your AI knows when to reach for that skill. But the full skill file can live in long-term memory and load only when it fires. The next part of our load package is a rules.md file. The index tells the AI what you have. The rules tell the AI how to behave. Anytime you say, don't be so verbose, just get to the point, or always take a screenshot and check what you've created before you tell me it's done, those things get saved into rules.md. These things get loaded on session start so that your AI won't keep repeating the same mistakes in your work. Now, it's important that you define with your AI what is appropriate to save as a rule. If you express a temporary frustration on a task, but it won't actually affect how the AI works in the future, then it doesn't need to save a rule about it. But if you say, always do Y after we do X, then you want that to be remembered forever. The question I have my AI use as a gate here is, will this change how I behave in the future? If yes, write it down. If no, forget it. And then the final piece of the load package is today's daily log, a running summary of what happened in today's sessions. We'll cover how this log gets written in the maintenance section. For now, just know that today's log rides along in every session start, so your AI picks up right where you left off. With just that move, each time you load up a session, your AI will know who you are, what you're working on, what it has access to help you work, and how it should behave when it's working with you. The next piece of the system is your short-term memory. These items will not get loaded automatically, but they are hot items that are either time sensitive or active projects you're working on. Your short-term memory should include things like your past 10 daily logs, project state file, open to-dos, and open blockers. These are things that you're most likely to ask for when you fire up a session, and your AI will know right where to retrieve what it needs. And then thirdly, we have long-term memory. Long-term memory is where durable facts that don't change frequently and where archived information lives. This would include things like your full skill files and definitions, workflows, research that you've done, or reference materials that you get into sometimes, and archives of past summarized daily logs. And then the final piece that keeps all of this from becoming a monster is maintenance. Now, maintenance has two parts. The first part is a save process that runs at session close or when you call it up for a checkpoint. And this is where today's daily log gets written. Your AI appends what you worked on, decisions that were made, blockers encountered, skills created, anything durable from the session. No judgment call needed. Everything can just get dumped in here if it seems like it might be useful. And then the second piece of the maintenance part is a dream cycle that runs on a schedule, maybe nightly or weekly. This is a piece that you can't skip because the dream cycle reviews your memory system and performs important maintenance on a scheduled basis. It'll summarize and archive your daily logs, check for stale items in short-term memory that should be archived to long-term memory, keep your index accurate by adding and removing line items based on your current workspace state, and will also prune your index if it becomes unruly. Now, with just those 4 moves, you will drastically improve the efficiency of your AI, reduce friction from having to find and re-explain information, and you'll never lose context on the work you're doing again. So, let's jump into a Claude Code session and see what happens if we try to implement this system on the file I showed you earlier. I'm using Claude Code for the demo, but the concepts apply across all the AIs. Hooks and skills are implemented differently in different tools, but the meaning will travel. You can just tell it what you want it to do. Now, the first thing we need to do is have the AI organize and file the information that's there so it'll know how to build the index. I need you to organize the information in my memory file into short-term and long-term memory. The short-term memory folder should contain daily logs for the most recent 10 days of work, any items that have a date or deadline attached that will be relevant in the next 2 weeks, a project state file that tracks the current handoff state for all of my projects, and any open to-dos or blockers. Long-term memory should contain workflows, skills, reference material, and research, summary archives of my daily logs older than 10 days, and archived projects or tasks. Okay, so that was actually pretty interesting. It took it about 6 or 7 minutes because that was a lot of data for it to sort through. But you can see that it went ahead and created all these different files according to what it thought would be the best organizational structure with the data it was given. One of the things that I found really interesting is that it went ahead and created the index.md file, even though I hadn't prompted it to do that yet. Now we're going to go ahead and prompt it to do it the way we want it to because I don't know what it made. But I just thought that was interesting. It already knew where we were going. And I guess that's a lesson you could take. You don't even have to do these specific steps or prompts. You could probably just tell your AI, I want to set up a memory system that'll work really well for me, and it could probably take you through this. Okay, now once that's built, we can have it go ahead and build out our load package. Okay, I want you to set up a load package that will load up on every session start. It will consist of an index.md, rules.md, and today's daily log. The index.md should be as tight as possible and should have one-line description of who I am, an index with links to what exists in short and long-term memory, and what skills are available to be used with one-line summaries of what they do and links to the full skill files. Rules.md contains information about how you behave, including my personal preferences about or corrections of your behavior, processes, or output. And today's daily log is a running summary of everything we do in our sessions together each day. It should include what we worked on, decisions made, artifacts created, and any other relevant information for a clean handoff to a new session. Create a hook that runs on session start and loads these 3 files. Okay, cool. So the load package got created. It went ahead and created the load package, refactored the files to fit into what I specified, and set up the hook so it gets injected every time a session starts. And once that's all done, you need to set up your maintenance, which includes how things get saved and how things get organized over time. I need you to implement a save skill that gets invoked on session close or checkpoints. It should include all the instructions necessary for the AI to save information according to the system we just set up. Also, create a session close and pre-compaction hook for that save skill to run. I also need you to create a dream skill I can run that will do maintenance and consolidation on the memory system. It should summarize and archive old daily logs, audit the index for accuracy and bloat, prune where necessary, check short-term memory for stale or closed items and archive them to long-term memory, and save any durable knowledge from short-term memory into long-term memory. And with that, in about 5 to 10 minutes, your AI now has a brain where it can remember things and know how to retrieve them efficiently and on demand and always have what it needs to work with you. Now, as you continue working and using the system, you or your AI will naturally come upon and suggest ways to make your specific system work better for your specific circumstances. For example, this is the map of my current memory system. Because I work across so many different domains and I like to keep my mental models separated, I created different load packages for each of my domains. Now, this is not strict separation. My AI still has access to all of the information in my Cortex system, but it creates separate entry points based on what work I'm doing. For example, if I know that I'm working on a project for my nonprofit, I don't need to load all the information that's relevant to my church or this channel, not even in the index. I only need to give the AI what it needs to work with the task and nothing more. Now, all of these domain-specific load packages I have funneled down into the same shared memory structure, and all of these files are synced across all of my devices. And that way, no matter where I am, no matter what agent I'm using, no matter which device I'm on, the AI knows exactly what I'm doing, where to get the right information, and how to behave. So, hey, jump into your AI OS and give this a try. And let me know in the comments how it changes the quality of your work with AI. You should see a massive increase in your AI's efficiency and performance and your enjoyment in working with the tools. Open up a fresh session next week and ask it to pick up where you left off on a decision you made today, and your AI will know what to do without any extra explanation. And that's a win that pays dividends every day. We'll see you back next time.